Olivia Dawson tapped her stylus against the edge of her desk as she stared at the screen before her. Another rejection. The third this month. Her application to join the Galactic Consortium's diplomatic corps had been denied again, despite her 15 years of experience and flawless record. The message was polite but clear. We appreciate your continued interest but have selected more suitable candidates at this time. Olivia knew what more suitable meant. Male. As always. She glanced around her tiny office in the outer ring of the massive consortium headquarters. What had once been a temporary position had somehow stretched into 5 years. Earth's integration into the Galactic Consortium had happened 75 years ago. Humans had proven themselves time and again as valuable allies. Yet human women remained stuck in supporting roles, their achievements often credited to their male counterparts. Olivia's comm unit buzzed, a message from Samantha Kelly, captain of the ISV Pathfinder and one of her oldest friends. Meeting tonight. Secure channel. 2200 hours. Encryption code follows. Strange. Sam wasn't one for secret meetings. Something must be wrong. Exactly 12 hours later, Olivia sat in her apartment, lights dimmed, as Sam's face appeared on her private screen. They passed over the Pathfinder again, Sam said without greeting. Her usually neat brown hair was messy, as if she'd been running her hands through it repeatedly. The defense mission to Proxima Station. They gave it to the Horizon. The Horizon. Their systems are 2 generations behind ours, and their captain has half my experience. Let me guess. Captain Franklin got the mission? Olivia asked. Of course. 5th mission this year while my crew sits idle. Sam's face was tight with controlled anger. It's happening everywhere, Olivia said. I've been gathering data. The pattern is impossible to miss once you look for it. I've noticed something else. Sam leaned closer to the camera. It's not just human women. Have you seen any female Zrelians in leadership positions? Or female Navaki on the Science Council? Olivia blinked. She hadn't thought to look beyond human issues. No. Now that you mention it, I haven't. I've made contact with females from 6 different species. They all report the same problems. It's galaxy-wide, Liv. The conversation was interrupted by another incoming call. Catherine Morgan, their friend who worked as a xenobiologist in the consortium's medical division. Olivia added her to the call. Catherine's eyes were red. She looked like she had been crying. They did it. They really did it, Catherine said, her voice shaking. My treatment protocol for cross-species viral infections. 3 years of my work. They published it today under Dr. Riker's name. My name appears as 14th in the list of supporting researchers. Can you fight it? Sam asked. I tried. Went straight to the board. They said the lead scientist determines author credits, and as my supervisor, Riker had final say. Catherine laughed bitterly. When I threatened to go public, they showed me my contract. Any dispute could mean termination and blacklisting. Olivia felt a cold fury building inside her. This was beyond unfair. It was systematic. I found something. Today, Olivia said quietly. She glanced around as if someone might be listening, though her apartment was swept daily for surveillance devices. I was supposed to file some old diplomatic records nobody ever looks at. I found reports from the early days of humanity's integration, internal memos discussing how to manage the human female issue. Both women on screen leaned forward. Apparently, most consortium species evolved with clear male dominance. When they encountered Earth with our push toward gender equality, it frightened them. They saw it as destabilizing. There was a quiet agreement to ensure human females didn't gain too much influence. They were afraid it would give females of other species inappropriate ideas. They conspired against us specifically? Catherine's scientific mind seemed shocked by the intentionality. It seems so. And it's been going on for decades while we blamed ourselves for not working hard enough. Olivia's voice was steady, but her hands had curled into fists. Sam was silent for a long moment. I've received something you both need to see. A location and an invitation. Not just for us. For women across the consortium who are tired of being pushed aside. She sent a file to both of them. Coordinates for a location on a small uninhabited moon near the edge of consortium space. What is this? Catherine asked. A meeting place. Secure. Outside consortium control. Women from 17 species will be there in 2 weeks. We're not the only ones who've had enough. Olivia stared at the coordinates. What Sam was suggesting bordered on sedition. Meeting outside approved channels could end her diplomatic career, permanently. Then again, what career? Filing papers and being passed over again and again? I have some data they should see, Olivia said finally. Records of promotion patterns, funding allocations, award distributions. The numbers tell a clear story. I'll be there, Catherine added. My research is too important to let them bury it. It could save millions of lives across multiple species. A new message appeared in their chat. Michelle Reeves, the billionaire industrialist who had built her fortune in ship manufacturing. Olivia had met her only twice at diplomatic functions. Ladies, I couldn't help overhearing. My security team detected your encrypted channel, don't worry. They've secured it properly now. Count me in for this meeting. I have resources that might be useful, and a few ships that don't appear in any registry. The 4 women looked at each other through their screens. None of them had planned rebellion. All of them had played by the rules, worked within the system, believing that excellence would eventually be recognized. They had been wrong. Something has to change, Sam said simply. And it won't change unless we make it change, Michelle added. Olivia thought about the hundreds of qualified women she had seen sidelined over the years. The missed opportunities, the stolen credit, the quiet dismissals. The consortium needs to learn that patience has limits, she said. I think we've all reached ours. On screens across human settlements and hidden enclaves of 17 alien species, similar conversations were happening that night. Quiet, determined voices making plans, securing channels, sharing information that had been hidden from them. The Galactic Consortium had no idea what was coming. They had expected human women, and the females of every species, to accept their place quietly forever. They were about to learn just how wrong they had been. As Olivia ended the call and stared out her window at the vast consortium headquarters, glittering against the night sky, she felt something unfamiliar stirring in her chest. Hope. The small moon had no official name, just a designation number in consortium records. Its surface was rocky and barren, without enough valuable minerals to interest mining companies. A perfect place to hide. Michelle Reeves's personal ship landed smoothly inside a crater on the dark side of the moon. Unlike the standard-issue consortium vessels, her ship had advanced cloaking technology that kept it invisible to regular scanners. Olivia stepped off the landing ramp and looked around in surprise. What she had expected to be a primitive outpost was instead a fully equipped underground base. Sleek metal doors built into the crater wall slid open as they approached. Welcome to Moonbase Liberty, Michelle said with a hint of pride. I've been building this for 3 years just in case. In case of what? Catherine asked, her scientific curiosity evident as she studied the reinforced walls and advanced technology surrounding them. In case women across the galaxy finally decided enough was enough, Michelle replied simply. The main chamber was massive, with curved walls displaying star maps and data streams. Women of various species filled the room, standing in small groups, talking intensely. Olivia recognized some of them. Scientists, pilots, diplomats, engineers, all accomplished in their fields, all held back because of their gender. Samantha. Kelly was already there, deep in conversation with a tall woman Olivia didn't recognize. Liv, Catherine, Michelle, come meet Natalie Freeman, Sam called them over. Natalie has been working in consortium military intelligence for 12 years. Natalie nodded crisply. Her posture and alert eyes marked her as military even in civilian clothes. I've brought something you all need to see, she said, leading them to a display table. She activated a holographic display showing the consortium's defense network. These red points are the primary command nodes. Control these and you control the entire network. Are you suggesting we attack military installations? Olivia asked, alarmed. That would be an act of war. Not attack, a new voice said. Bypass. A short woman with unruly red hair stepped forward. Alexandra Doyle, she introduced herself. Everyone calls me Alex. I specialize in systems engineering and, let's call it, creative access to secured networks. She means she's the best hacker in 3 sectors, Michelle added with a smile. Alex shrugged modestly. I've found backdoors into every major consortium system, including defense, communications, and economic networks. How is that possible? Catherine asked. The security protocols were designed by men who never imagined someone like me would look at them. Alex finished. They update the outer layers regularly, but the fundamental architecture hasn't changed in decades. They're so confident in their superiority that they've gotten lazy. The meeting officially began as Michelle called everyone to attention. Over 200 women had gathered, humans and aliens alike. Representatives from 17 species filled the chamber, each with similar stories of discrimination and marginalization. We call ourselves the Sisterhood, Michelle explained. Not just human women but females from across the galaxy who share our goals. A blue-skinned Navaki scientist rose to speak. On my world, females are not allowed to lead research teams despite our natural aptitude for biochemistry. My discoveries have been claimed by male supervisors for 30 years. A reptilian Zerelian military officer followed. Female Zerelians have better reflexes and superior tactical thinking, yet we are restricted to support roles in our fleet. One by one, they shared similar stories. Different worlds, same injustice. Olivia presented her data next, showing the undeniable patterns of discrimination across the consortium. This isn't accidental, she concluded. It's institutional policy, hidden but deliberate. The room rumbled with anger as the evidence mounted. The question is, what do we do about it? Samantha asked when Olivia finished. Natalie Freeman stepped forward. I propose Operation Glass Ceiling, a coordinated action to take control of key systems simultaneously. She outlined a detailed plan that made use of Alex's digital backdoors, Michelle's secret resources, and strategically placed women throughout the consortium. This isn't about violence, Natalie emphasized. It's about leverage, taking control of essential systems and using that position to force real change. Will it work? Catherine asked the question on everyone's mind. The men of the consortium have one critical weakness, Natalie replied. They don't believe we're capable of organizing something like this. Their blind spot is our advantage. The planning continued deep into the night. Tasks were assigned, resources allocated, timelines established. Alexandra demonstrated the communication system she had designed, undetectable by consortium monitors. We'll be able to coordinate our actions across all sectors simultaneously. A soft chime interrupted them. One of Michelle's security officers approached with urgent news. We've detected an approaching ship, consortium registry. The room tensed. Had they been discovered already? Identify, Michelle ordered. It's the CSS Vigilant, Admiral Crawford's personal vessel. Samantha frowned. William Crawford? What's he doing here? He's requested permission to land, the officer continued. Says he comes as a friend, not a representative of the consortium. Debate erupted. Some wanted to turn him away immediately. Others suggested detaining him. I know William, Samantha said finally. He's a fair man. Let him land, but with security precautions. An hour later, Admiral William Crawford stood before the Leadership Council of the Sisterhood. Unlike most high-ranking consortium officers, he carried himself without arrogance. I came to warn you, he said bluntly. The consortium has detected unusual communication patterns. They don't know what they're looking at yet, but they've started an investigation. Why would you tell us this? Olivia asked suspiciously. Crawford's gaze was steady. Because I've watched qualified women passed over for promotion my entire career, including my daughter, who left the service because of it. He paused. And because whatever you're planning, I suspect it's long overdue. Alex leaned forward. Can you get us access to the communication monitoring stations? Crawford nodded. I can do better than that. I can provide security clearances and fleet movement schedules. The leaders exchanged glances. An ally in the upper ranks could be invaluable. Or a trap. If you betray us, Michelle said calmly. Remember that I have resources that could destroy your career and reputation with a single data release. Crawford smiled slightly. I would expect nothing less. As the Admiral shared his intelligence, Olivia felt the first tremor of something powerful building. This was no longer just a meeting, it was the beginning of a revolution. Outside the meeting room, women from across the galaxy continued to arrive. Each carried stories of injustice. Each brought determination for change. The time for patience had ended. The day of Operation Glass Ceiling began like any other across the consortium. Men in positions of power went to their offices, confident in their control. None suspected that by nightfall, everything would change. At exactly 0600 Consortium Standard Time, Alex Doyle sat in her small apartment on Centauri Station, fingers flying across 3 different screens. She wore a simple gray jumpsuit with many pockets filled with data chips and technical tools. A soft beep from her secure communicator signaled it was time. Initiating Phase 1, she said into her comm. All teams confirm readiness. One by one, voices responded from across the galaxy. The Sisterhood was in position. Alex activated her master program. Deep in the consortium's central communications hub, a tiny subroutine that she had planted months ago awakened. Within seconds, it multiplied and spread throughout the network. Control panels across 50 different communication centers suddenly displayed the same message. System maintenance mode activated. Male technicians frowned at their screens. They tried override codes. Nothing worked. Many called their supervisors who, in turn, called their supervisors. By the time anyone realized something was truly wrong, the Sisterhood had complete control of all consortium communications. On the military vessel, ISV Pathfinder, Samantha Kelly addressed her crew. Today, we take action not just for ourselves, but for every female who has been silenced and sidelined. Her crew, loyal to her rather than the consortium, cheered. The Pathfinder moved into position near Defense Platform Alpha, the primary control node for the entire sector's defense grid. According to official orders, falsified but bearing Admiral Crawford's authorization codes, they were conducting routine security exercises. Samantha's first officer, Lisa Daniels, coordinated with 5 other ships commanded by Sisterhood members. Each took position near a critical defense installation. At 0700, Samantha gave the order. Execute Phase 2. Small teams of expertly trained women deployed from each ship. Using access codes provided by allies like Crawford, they entered the defense platforms without resistance. Within 30 minutes, all 6 primary defense nodes in the sector were under Sisterhood control. No shots were fired. No alarms were raised. Meanwhile, in the vast Consortium Medical Research Center, Catherine Morgan and 27 female scientists from 12 different species implemented their part of the plan. Catherine wore her regular lab coat, a small Sisterhood emblem pinned inside where only she could see it. Begin medical database lockdown, she instructed. Each scientist entered specific commands at their workstations. Years of being forced to do administrative work while men took credit for their research had given them intimate knowledge of the systems. One by one, research databases came under their control. Catherine sent a calm message to Olivia. Medical systems secured. Across the consortium, similar takeovers were happening in economic centers, transportation hubs, and energy facilities. The male-dominated leadership remained unaware of the full scope of what was happening. Each problem seemed isolated, technical, nothing to worry about. By midday, Olivia Dawson walked confidently into the consortium central broadcasting station. Using credentials supplied by Alex, she passed through security without issue. Several female staff members nodded to her, small silver pins on their collars identifying them as Sisterhood allies. Olivia reached the main broadcast hub precisely at 1200 hours. The male director looked up in surprise as she entered. This area is restricted, he began. 2 security officers, both women who had suffered years of harassment and passed over promotions, stepped forward. Sir, there's an urgent situation requiring your attention in Sector 7, one said professionally. As soon as he left, Olivia took her position at the main console. "Initiating Phase 3, she said into her comm. Across all consortium planets and stations, regular broadcasts suddenly cut out. Instead, viewers saw Olivia's calm face. "Citizens of the Galactic Consortium, I am Olivia Dawson. What you are about to see is the truth that has been hidden from you." For the next 30 minutes, she presented the evidence she had gathered over years, data showing systematic discrimination, hidden policies, and the deliberate suppression of female achievement across all species. She showed the memo she had discovered outlining the plan to keep human women in their place to prevent them from influencing females of other species. "This is not a violent takeover," she explained. "No one has been or will be harmed. But change must come. The talents and contributions of half the population cannot continue to be ignored." As she spoke, Michelle Reeves implemented the economic phase of their plan. From her private financial center, she froze the accounts of key consortium leaders. Not all men, only those identified as active enforcers of discrimination. The message was clear: support equality or lose access to power and wealth. 6 hours into Operation Glass Ceiling, High Chancellor Zreltak finally understood what was happening. The tall, gray-skinned leader of the consortium gathered his emergency council only to discover half of them couldn't be reached. Communications remained unreliable, controlled by the Sisterhood who allowed only selected messages through. How could this happen? He demanded of his security chief. The security chief hesitated, embarrassed. "They appear to have been planning this for years while we didn't notice." "Didn't notice?" Zreltak's voice rose. "How could you not notice a galaxy-wide conspiracy?" The answer was simple but remained unspoken. They had never considered women capable of such organization and strategy. By the 18th hour of the operation, the Sisterhood controlled 70% of critical consortium infrastructure. Their message had reached billions across the galaxy. From planet to planet, females of all species began publicly showing their support. Many males, particularly younger ones, stood with them. In a surprising development, the entire Viridian delegation announced their support for the Sisterhood. As a rare species with female-dominant social structures, they had long been uncomfortable with consortium policies but had remained diplomatic. "The balance must be restored," the Viridian ambassador stated publicly. As the 24th hour approached, Zreltak found himself with fewer and fewer options. Military action was impossible with defense systems under Sisterhood control. Economic pressure was useless with Michelle Reeves controlling financial networks. Even propaganda failed with communication systems in Alex's hands. Finally, he did. The only thing left to him. He sent a private message to Olivia Dawson. "I request a meeting to discuss terms." It read simply. In the Sisterhood's command center, now operating openly from Michelle's corporate headquarters, Olivia showed the message to her colleagues. "It's working," Samantha said, her eyes bright. With triumph and lack of sleep, Olivia nodded. Now comes the hard part, not just winning, but building something better. The great hall of the Consortium Central Council Chamber had never seen a day like this. The massive room with its high ceiling and ornate decorations was designed to impress visitors with the consortium's power and importance. Today, it felt more like a courtroom. Olivia Dawson stood at the center of the chamber, facing the semicircle of council members. Many seats were empty. Some counselors were unable to attend because of travel restrictions imposed by the Sisterhood. Others had simply chosen not to come. High Chancellor Zreltak sat in his central position, his gray face unreadable. On either side of Olivia stood Samantha, Catherine, Michelle, and Alex. Behind them were representatives from all 17 species involved in the Sisterhood. "You have requested this meeting," Zreltak said, his deep voice echoing in the chamber. "State your terms." Olivia stepped forward. She wore a simple blue dress rather than the elaborate robes traditionally expected in the council chamber. It was a deliberate choice. No more playing by their rules. "The Sisterhood presents the following terms," she said clearly. "First, immediate implementation of equal representation policies across all consortium bodies. Each species shall have equal numbers of males and females in leadership positions. A murmur ran through the council. One male counselor from the Denovian system stood up angrily. This is outrageous. You commit acts of sedition and then make demands? You should all be arrested. Michelle Reeves smiled coldly. Perhaps, Counselor, Vrax should check his personal accounts before speaking further. I believe he would find his considerable hidden assets are currently inaccessible. The counselor paled and sat down quickly. Olivia continued as if there had been no interruption. Second, a complete review of all scientific and military achievements of the past 50 years, with proper credit restored to female contributors. Catherine took a step forward. My research alone has saved millions of lives, yet a man's name appears on the treatments. This pattern exists across all fields. Third, Olivia went on, implementation of merit-based promotion systems with transparent oversight in all consortium organizations. Fourth, equal resource allocation for projects led by females and males. And finally, a formal acknowledgement of the systematic discrimination that has occurred, with a public apology from this council. The chamber erupted in voices. Some counselors shouted objections. Others sat in shocked silence. A few nodded thoughtfully. Zreltak raised his hand for quiet. And if we refuse these terms? Alex Doyle stepped forward with a small device in her hand. Then at 800 tomorrow, all consortium systems will enter complete shutdown. Communications, transportation, defense, financial networks, everything. The economic damage would take years to repair. You would harm countless innocent citizens. To achieve your goals? A counselor asked. Samantha Kelly's voice was steady. We have planned carefully to ensure no essential services would be affected. Medical facilities, food distribution, and basic utilities would continue uninterrupted. But yes, there would be significant disruption. The council chamber doors opened, and Eric Bennett, the human ambassador to the consortium, entered. He looked troubled and tired, as if he hadn't slept in days. High Chancellor, esteemed counselors, he said formally, I request permission to address this gathering. Zreltak nodded. Eric walked to the center of the room, standing near Olivia, but not quite with her. I have spent the past 24 hours reviewing the evidence presented by the Sisterhood, he said. As Earth's representative, I feel deep shame that I never noticed or questioned the patterns they have exposed. He turned to face the council directly. Their demands are just. The discrimination they have documented is real. And speaking for Earth, I formally support their call for change. Olivia looked at Eric with surprise. She had expected him to oppose, them to defend the status quo that had benefited him for so long. The council again erupted in voices, but this time the tone was different. More thoughtful, less angry. A counselor from the progressive Tellurian species stood. My government has also reviewed the evidence. We too support these terms. The consortium can only be stronger with all voices heard. One by one, several other counselors indicated support. It appeared the council was splitting, with slightly more than half willing to consider the Sisterhood's demands. Then an aide rushed into the chamber and whispered urgently to Zreltak. The High Chancellor's face darkened. It appears, he said slowly, that not all members of our government agree with peaceful negotiation. I have just been informed that a military force has been deployed against several Sisterhood positions. Samantha immediately checked her communications device. Confirmed. Our team on Defense Platform 3 is under attack. Also reports of forces moving against the Medical Research Center. Catherine's face went pale. My team is there. Who authorized this? Zreltak demanded. General Draz, the aide replied. He's gathered forces loyal to him personally. Olivia stepped forward. High Chancellor, we came in peace. We have harmed no one. Will you stand by while your general attacks unarmed women? Before Zreltak could answer, Catherine's device chimed. She checked it, and a slow smile spread across her face. It seems my team was prepared, she said. They've released a modified pheromone compound into the ventilation system. Non-harmful, but effective. The attacking forces are currently experiencing intense drowsiness. Most are already asleep. At the same moment, Samantha received an update. Defense Platform 3 reports all attacking ships have been disabled, using targeted electromagnetic pulses. No casualties. The Council watched in amazement as reports continued to come in. Everywhere General Draz's forces attacked, they were met with clever, non-violent defenses that quickly neutralized them. It appears, Michelle said dryly, that we anticipated some might prefer force over reason. The great doors of the council chamber opened again. Admiral William Crawford entered, followed by several high-ranking officers from different species, all male. High Chancellor, Crawford said formally, I wish to announce that significant portions of the Consortium Defense Forces recognize the legitimacy of the Sisterhood's concerns. We refuse to take action against them and request that General Draz be removed from command for his unauthorized actions. Zreltak looked around the chamber slowly. His eyes moved from the determined faces of the Sisterhood to the now divided council, to Crawford and his officers. It seems, he said finally, that we have no choice but to negotiate in good faith. Olivia stepped forward once more. We never wanted conflict, High Chancellor, only justice. The galaxy is large enough for all voices to be heard. As discussion began about forming a joint committee to implement the changes, Olivia caught Samantha's eye across the room. Both women shared a small smile. The revolution was working. 1 year had passed since the day the Sisterhood took control of the consortium systems. The Grand Plaza outside the rebuilt council headquarters was filled with thousands of beings from across the galaxy. They had come to witness the official ceremony marking the first anniversary of what many now called the rebalancing. Olivia Dawson stood on the stage beside High Chancellor Zreltak. Once adversaries, they now served as co-chancellors of the reformed Galactic Consortium. Around them stood the new council, equal numbers of males and females from each member species. Citizens of the consortium, Zreltak's deep voice carried across the plaza. 1 year ago, we faced a crisis of our own making. For generations, we ignored the talents and contributions of half our population. He turned and gestured respectfully to Olivia. Co-Chancellor Dawson, would you address our people? Olivia stepped forward. She wore a simple but elegant blue uniform that had become the standard for consortium officials. Designed by a committee of women from various species for practicality and dignity, rather than to impress or intimidate. We gather today not to celebrate victory, she began, but to honor transformation. The Sisterhood never sought power for ourselves alone. We sought balance. She looked out at the diverse crowd. In the front row sat her friends who had made it all possible, Samantha, Catherine, Michelle, and Alex. Each had taken leadership roles in the new consortium structure. In 1 year, we have seen remarkable progress, Olivia continued. Joint research teams with equal gender representation have made more scientific breakthroughs in 12 months than in the previous 5 years combined. This was largely thanks to Catherine Morgan, who now directed the consortium medical division. Her previously suppressed research had been properly credited and expanded. Multiple species now benefited from treatments that had once been hidden away. Our defense capabilities have been strengthened not through aggression, but through innovation and cooperation, Olivia noted. Samantha Kelly had been appointed Fleet Admiral, overseeing the integration of new tactics and technologies that female officers had developed privately for years but never been allowed to implement. Working alongside Admiral Crawford, she had created a more efficient and responsive defense force. Our economic systems now value all forms of contribution, not just traditional demonstrations of power. Michelle Reeves had led this transformation, creating new economic frameworks that recognized caregiving, communication skills, and collaborative achievements alongside more traditionally valued traits like aggression and competition. And our communication systems are now transparent and accessible to all, Olivia added. Alex Doyle had rebuilt the consortium's networks from the ground up, removing backdoors and creating new security protocols that emphasized equal access to information. Her work had made censorship nearly impossible. As Olivia spoke, view screens around the plaza showed images from across the galaxy, mixed gender research teams working together, military units with male and female officers sharing command, schools where young beings of all genders learned about the contributions of diverse heroes. The path has not always been smooth, Olivia acknowledged. Change never is. Indeed, there had been resistance. Some traditionalists had attempted to organize counter-movements. A few had even tried sabotage. But each time, the overwhelming benefits of the new system had become apparent, weakening opposition. Yet we have emerged stronger by embracing all our strengths. The consortium now truly represents the diversity of our galaxy. After the main ceremony, Olivia met with her core team in a garden adjacent to the plaza. They had all changed in the past year. Each carried new responsibilities, yet their friendship remained. Sometimes I can hardly believe what we accomplished, Catherine said, looking out over the city. Her medical research center now employed thousands, saving countless lives across multiple species. Remember when we thought we'd be arrested or worse? Samantha laughed. Her uniform now carried the insignia of Fleet Admiral, a position no human woman had ever held before. Michelle raised her glass. To the sisterhood, and to what comes next. I've been analyzing the data, Alex said. She still preferred practical clothes with many pockets for her devices, even though she now directed the consortium's vast information networks. Every metric shows improvement: scientific advancement, economic growth, citizen satisfaction, even birth rates in previously declining populations. It turns out, Olivia said with a smile, that when you use all your available talent instead of just half, things work better. They were interrupted by the arrival of a school group, young beings of various species on an educational tour. Their teacher, a male Zerelian, spotted the women and guided his students over. Co-Chancellor Dawson, Admiral Kelly, Director Morgan, what an honor. We're visiting the new Revolution Museum. Would you mind speaking with my students? A young human girl stepped forward shyly. Is it true you took over the whole galaxy without hurting anyone? Olivia knelt to meet the child's eyes. We didn't take over, sweetie. We just reminded everyone that every voice matters. A small Navaki female asked, Did you really hack the entire consortium network by yourself, Director Doyle? Alex grinned. Well, I had help. But yes, because no one expected someone like me to try. As the children asked their questions, Olivia noticed a group of male counselors watching from across the garden. Not opponents, but allies now. Eric Bennett stood among them. He caught her eye and gave a respectful nod. Later that evening, after the celebrations ended, Olivia stood on the balcony of the council building looking up at the stars. Zreltak joined her, his tall gray form moving with a dignity that had once seemed intimidating but now just felt familiar. A remarkable year, Co-Chancellor, he said. Indeed, Olivia agreed, though there's still much to do. I must confess, Zreltak said quietly, I never imagined sharing power could make it greater rather than lesser. Olivia smiled. That was always the problem. So many saw equality as a loss rather than a gain. Far above them, ships from across the galaxy moved through the night sky. Among them was the ISV Pathfinder, now the flagship of the consortium fleet. Its crew, male and female, worked together on the bridge, its captain's chair alternating between qualified officers regardless of gender. Across the consortium, the story was told and retold, how women from 17 species had finally lost their patience and in doing so, found their power. How they had transformed an empire not through violence but through determined cooperation. How balance had been restored to a galaxy long tilted off its axis. No one would ever forget the moment when women finally lost their temper and found their voice.